Hi everyone, I hope you like listening to our podcast. This is Bogdan here, the producer and the editor of the show. The following part is a recording of Steve Bederman, our CEO, in conversation with Nancy Munro of Verbal Transactions on her podcast Contact Center Insights. To listen to the entire episode or more episodes by Nancy, go to your favorite podcast app and search for Contact Center Insights. To hear more about NobelBiz and the products Steve talks about, go to nobelbiz.com. Let's listen in.
I'm going to tap into your wisdom today because your current business, NobelBiz, to me, I think is extremely relevant today. I think you're probably, I hope your phone is ringing off the hook, but, basically you've built a system that's a completely cloud-based call center, phone system, everything that can help with business redundancy and all of that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, how you got to that point where you thought this would be a great solution for the contact center space?
For contact centers, which was a little bit different than the other carriers that contact center runs into, because we knew the contact center had a specific need. So we have a worldwide network, a carrier network. We're not a referral telco, we're a true carrier. And over the years, we've obviously grown to be the leader in that. At some point in time, and this is really about 6 years ago, we realized that as people were moving away from the on-premise and moving into the cloud, that our own relevancy required us to recognize that technology, not just back-end carrier, was important. Because we all had so much experience in contact center ourselves, we began to build our own hosted platform. We've done some acquisitions since. We've listened a lot to our clients to try to say what is relevant, because the contact center space is not a quick adopter of new technologies. We said, well, what are they really using today? And obviously omnichannel is finally in motion within contact centers, although discussed for many years, and we fit perfectly as a carrier and a manufacturer.
Right. And I was at an event in New York City last year, and they talked about how still 70% of contact centers at that time were on premise, even though, you go to a trade show, you see cloud here, cloud this, omni-channel that, so it's, I think what COVID-19 has accelerated in that timeline of really, forcing people into that business model. Have you seen that?
Well, I think change in itself, inevitably that dynamic leads to allowance of other decisions. So if you're going to adopt it, so if you're moving agents home that you may not have had home, and they begin to be successful, but you also recognize that your own client base may not yet be using you as much because of the pandemic, you have to be able to say, well, what other things can my technology provide? And the truth of the matter is this: we're all using a wide range of channels as consumers. On our website, chat pops up. You use chat. We talk to people at the airlines. We do that without any complete automation, without any real people. And when we can show the client today that has just gone home that they can enhance their offering and their own operations without any additional cost, well, that becomes really attractive, And really, there is no reason you need to charge more for a wide range of channels. One last thing I would say is this: over the years, multi-channels has been what people have been looking at, which is how do I do chat, how do I do email, how do I do voice or video, but they were always separate. So you would lose the chain of connectivity and reporting piece with the client, whereas today an omni-channel solution allows you to queue up any form of communication and allows you to, whatever it is, if it's a chat versus a video, it stays within Q, and Q, as any contact center will tell you, is really the key to their need. And now that we accomplished that, our phones are actually ringing. I wouldn't say off the hook, but certainly ringing right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, I saw a demonstration at that same event where somebody says, okay, I'm going to start with somebody's on chat on our website, they're having a problem, and then they did a screen share, so they didn't have to jump out of that channel to keep the thread going. And so I think that's what's really key, is keeping the thread of communication going consistently. And, to me, it's like, oh, yeah, why aren't more people doing this? But, you've got those sunk costs in a lot of these call centers, and they just, their margins are pretty thin as they are. Mm-hmm.
They've sunk that into their capital expenditures over the years, and they have on-site systems, and they feel their whole staff is based on supporting that on-premise system. So it's difficult to simply, let's change our whole model. But the pandemic is forcing the issue. And so it's less of a decision now for an owner of a contact center versus a necessity to go home. And all of a sudden they go home and they see limitations on their on-premise system, and then they see there may be some cost savings as well, and they see it's simple to use. I mean, why wouldn't you do it? And frankly, we're not the only ones with it. There are not a lot, but there are a number of strong companies doing it the right way, and we'd like to just think we're one of them.
Yeah, well, and it's a great redundancy plan, for any business operation like that too. Yeah.
And by the way, redundancy was the original reason for remote agents, right? And now you just get to go to another level.
Yeah, no, it is funny, because I was talking to a call center the other day, and they said, well, because I thought they would run into the problem where maybe their agents, once they were forced to work from home, a lot of people use a Mac as their personal computer.
Yeah.
And I said, well, did you run into a situation where a lot of people had Macs? And she's like, no. Actually, our biggest problem was more people had Windows 7 than Windows 10. And so I'm like, oh, that's, interesting. So our IT people had to kind of relax their rules a little bit, even though Microsoft themselves are starting to not support Windows 7, and either, just let them use that version, or, wait until they can get upgraded, or, figure something out. But, some of these rules that people were so stringent with before with their on-premise systems, I think they're beginning to realize the benefits, too, of not just necessarily having this one kind of architecture that, it doesn't break, it works, the system's there. But, I think, stretching out to the cloud and putting different types of architectures in place, is a good thing for these IT folks too.
Putting architecture in place when you manufacture, when we design our technology that allows for a wider range of computer systems that the agents are using at home or abroad or elsewhere, so that we can be flexible. So, I mean, the real key with being able to offer a more universal solution, whether it be in a wide range of channels, queued, or just simply you can go home or not, or be anywhere in the world and work.
Yeah.
The real key there is creating versatility in it. I mean, that's the harder part to solve, but if you're solving it at the point of architecture, as you know, with your own stuff, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I'm sure that they quickly put this together, that from a hiring standpoint and a recruitment standpoint, all these folks that had the brick and mortar call centers where they were limited to their talent pool are now thinking, why didn't we do this a long time ago? Because we can hire anybody now. We don't have to be just stuck with the geographical region that we're at, because they probably go through that pool, pretty fast if you're in a kind of a rural area.
Well, it's an interesting thing. For many years, obviously, there's been a lot of initiatives towards offshore outsourcing groups anywhere in the world. But the idea of just in the States being able to just where companies value the need to be able to just employ within the state. They can do that in those remote areas or rural areas perfectly with this. And, but I think the key is somebody feeling, a manager feeling that they can control their environment. And they're used to coming into an office and seeing 500 agents and feeling that they know how to manage that. And so what that requires, and what we've done is, you end up building tools that allow you to do the same thing but remote, so that I can see my agent sitting in a small town somewhere in the world. I can listen to them. I can participate with them. And my virtual environment, it won't lose me any of the traction and gain I feel I get in person. And the last thing is, it's got to be easy as heck to train and to use. And that's what I think contact centers fear is. They go, I don't know that just anybody anywhere can learn the technology. But when you show them that anybody anywhere certainly can within 5 minutes, then they're 5 minutes. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
To listen to the entire episode or more episodes by Nancy, go to your favorite podcast app and search for Contact Center Insights. To hear more about NobelBiz and the products Steve talks about, go to NobelBiz.com.